guys, Twigglers2 here, and in today's video I'm going to disclose the top 5 mistakes I see new players make in Humankind. Without further ado, let's get into number 1. Only placing quarters where the game tells you to. The suggestion from the game is really useful when you're a brand new player, but it fails to take into account planning ahead, which means you're not really going to take advantage of adjacency bonuses later in the game. You'll have more of a random scattering of quarters that made sense at the time but lacked any sort of plan for the future. Make sure you plan ahead by surveying the scene, seeing what the tiles have to offer, and you'll really feel the benefit of those adjacency bonuses later on in the game. Ascending into the next era as soon as you obtain enough stars. I know there's a rush to get into the next era so you can choose the culture that you want, but stars become more difficult to obtain each time you go up an era, so it really is worth hanging back a little bit longer just to hoover up those remaining stars to give yourself some more glorious, easily obtained fame. Neglecting science in the early game. It's very easy to focus purely on food and industry to really start to expand your empire, but if you fall too far behind science too soon, that really hurts. So don't forget to allocate at least some of your population to science, and don't forget that Neolithic legacy trait either at the beginning, which gives you the option to boost your science research. If you've never heard of the Neolithic legacy trait, then head over to my top 10 tips video, which goes into more detail. Attaching too many outposts to cities early on in the game. Now, of course, there are advantages to attaching outposts to cities, but it's really going to impact your stability in the early game. Later in the game, you can start building up your luxury resources and building commons quarters to increase your stability. But until you get to that point, you might want to just stick to 1 or 2 attached outposts to your cities in the early game, just to avoid a ridiculous amount of instability. Using auto-explore all the time. Don't use auto-explore, it's dumb. It doesn't know what it's doing. With one caveat. Early on in the game, at the very beginning in the Neolithic era, it seems to be a bit broken. It just knows where the food and the curiosities are and will make a beeline for you. So by all means use auto-explore right at the beginning, although you'll have to guide your tribes slightly away from each other first. But later in the game, it's just best for you to control it yourself. I've had ships just going up and down in the same space the whole time. It's just dumb and it doesn't know what it's doing. So apart from in the very early game when you've got your tribe on auto-explore, just avoid it and do it for yourself. Hope you found this video useful, and if you did, you might find this next one useful too. See you later.